Hello, my name is Chatelier, and welcome back to another episode of Colombian Space Initiative in Supreme Ruler Ultimate. And in previous episode we did increase our consumer goods production as well as some of our electricity production, and we increased the supply levels here in Medellin quite nicely. Now we do have $50 million. We got the consumer goods, not consumer, industrial goods that we need to building another industrial goods factory. We'll start building that right away. We are also closing up on the election, and we seem to have quite a bit of a lead towards the next party in line. So, I think it's 4.7? Yeah, 4.7% lead. That's not too bad. But yeah, we started building the industrial goods factory. It's going to be rather costly, to be fair. At least the start over there is usually rather costly, and even then after that it's going to be... So we need to probably pause that a few times, but we have all the resources we need to build it, and it shouldn't really be a problem. After that, we may need to increase our electricity production once again, and then we might start focusing on increasing the infrastructure that we have, so that we can spread the supplies somewhat evenly to all around. Okay, so I think now is probably the time to pause that. We've got 18 days into that. It's not too bad. Now we just need to wait for the money. We don't have quite as massive income right now as we have had. I did lower the taxes to 35%, I believe, last episode already, which does mean that we have pretty good approval rating, and we are bound to win the election. No problems asked, or no questions asked about that. We're getting the practical turbine applications in about 4 months. After that, I'll set up the early combat aircraft, because that is one of the things that we need to get to the air-cooled radial engines, which lets us go to, I believe, is it this one? Yeah, and then launch physics. So yeah, we got a lot of things that we do need to get, of course, first. Including the basic electronics, we need plastics, and that needs polymerization theories. And that we could technically start researching, but it's so expensive that I'd rather buy, or it's so time consuming that I'd rather buy it from the United States. Of course, that needs a lot of money, and we don't quite have that sort of cash reserves yet, because we are expanding a lot of our economy and such. Now we've got 20 million. I'll wait until we reach 50 million again before continuing the construction. Unemployment is only 3.5%. Inflation is still below 10%, so it's more or less alright. The military goods availability is now poor, but we are making a decent money out of that. We might want to increase the production of that actually at some point, especially if we let the war trigger a war, or world trigger a war. So, war trigger a war. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. But anyway, yeah, we'll increase the volatility at 1930. Countdown to election. Oh, wow. It's 5.4% lead. That is impressive. And yeah, our approval rating is good, which means that people are happy, means that a lot more people are moving in than moving out. And yeah, the deaths have gone down a little bit, births have gone certainly up a fair bit. So I think about a year and a half from now, we'll probably have 6 million people. If that estimation holds true, of course. If it doesn't, then yeah, not necessarily. We've still got plenty of coal production, and we got plenty of potential for metal production. I mean, we've got quite a few mines that are inactive right now. Actually, how many coal mines do we have inactive? 5. That does track. So yeah, we can increase the coal production quite significantly if need be. Still about a month and a bit away from the election. 40 days to be precise, now that there has been a couple of days going through. Since that notification. So our GDP per capita is actually now ranked 26 in the world. It's not too bad. $453 compared to the 403, so we got a full $50 per capita more than what the average is. Now, to be fair, we also have quite significant inflation, 8.8% currently, and yeah, 3.5% unemployment. is not great, considering that it does increase the... Well, it's more likely, or more like it increases the... Well, not actually entirely sure. It's a bit of a chicken or egg situation there, that the low unemployment means that the inflation is going up, because there's less... or the production costs are going to go higher, therefore the prices need to go higher, and that is kind of causing it, I reckon. Well, I think that's the logic there anyway. But yeah, assuming that we can keep it at least at 3.5%, somewhere between that and 4% unemployment is probably the sweet spot in here. After that, it starts to get... or people start to get a bit unhappy. That brings its own problems. 33.9% support, oh my goodness. I don't think we'll be able to reach 34% support, but... I don't know, the approval rating is still going up. Okay then. Right, we got 60 million. How about we continue constructing here a little bit? Not sure how much we can afford actually doing the construction there. But we'll probably get pretty close to completion. And that means that we'll increase the productions. Actually, how many of these do we have so far? I think that is the number 5. So it's going to increase it by... Actually, I'm not entirely sure. Well, if that's 4 factories, then it's going to be about 45 tons per day. It's not a massive increase, but there's not going to be consumption for those 45 tons yet. So yeah, it's going to increase our total production quite nicely, actually. And then we can start expanding our other goods productions, for example. Come down to election. Oh, it is 34%. It's a full 6% lead to the Freedom Party. Impressive. Still 27 days left there. I'm not entirely sure if we have quite the cash to complete this construction. We're getting rather close, that's for sure. After that, or after we get that completed, I'll start letting the industrial goods accumulate a little bit. We'll gather up some money. Oh, actually, I'm gonna pause that for a while now. Running a bit too short on cash. I mean, the elections are going to be here in just... Is it actually tomorrow or the day after that? It is today now. Okay. Oh wow, that was quite stellar victory. I wonder if I could manage to get a 40% support at some point. I mean, to be fair, how bad is the unemployment? 3.3% right now. Ooh. That has gone down. Inflation has been going up. Not sure if it's people moving away or just more money in the economy or something like that. I'm not entirely sure. There's so many things or modifiers kind of below the surface that the game doesn't necessarily inform you about. And pretty much everything affects to everything, so it's sometimes a bit hard to keep track on what is causing what. So how many days worth do we still need to construct this? It's about 5 or 6 days. So we probably need about 30 million and then it should be alright. Now of course that is going to increase our construction or production expenditures and not going to increase our income. So that is something to keep in mind. We don't want to have too much industrial goods extra production, because that will then cripple our income, or cripple our economy a little bit. Even though that does mean that we can keep on constructing more, but, you know, there needs to be a bit of a balance. But I think we can now keep on constructing that. We should have the cash to complete it. And after that, I think we'll start saving up some cash. We might be... well, actually, no. We will start saving cash, that's for sure, but we don't have a massive amount of extra industrial goods right now. But I suppose I could start setting up the railway down this way, or setting up the railway down this way to get the supplies spreading out here. Okay, so we completed the building now because we are no longer losing money. Yeah, indeed we did. Now the question is, Are we going to need more? Oh, yeah, we definitely need more power now. Yeah, industrial goods and consumer goods are a rather massive expenditure, and civilian demands has gone up quite a bit as well. Okay, so that is causing us a bit of a problem. Well, let's send you to the power production area there. So how much are we producing? 220 tons of industrial goods. Not too bad. So it's almost 100 tons of extra per day. There's not really a demand for the industrial goods in the international markets though, so we won't be selling any. We're just saving up the goods so that we can keep on constructing. And actually, we don't need all that much to build the power plant. Of course, the unemployment is a bit too low for that right now. We'll let that accumulate a little bit. I suppose one thing that I could do is I could increase this to 60% again. Oh, right, the power production cost has gone down. I think. That may have been because... Oh, right, because we built the coal power plant. I think the coal power plant production cost for the electricity is more than for the hydro plants. That could be it. Right, so how much... We got quite a bit of industrial goods already, and we got the practical turbine applications completed. I wonder if it unlocked anything important. I think I'm going to have to get the... Now I'm going to start accumulating a lot of money, although we do need to build the power plant again. How much would it cost? 27 million? 16,000 tons. I'm going to start building it now. I know that the unemployment is going to be a problem soon enough, so after that we're going to have to probably start working on the supply or the railway down up north. We'll build it slowly. We don't need to build it. Well, we can build it like a couple hexes at a time. That should be alright. Of course, it does still take a decent bit of industrial goods per hex to build it. So even though we're building the coal power plant, we are still making money. So that's good. But at the same time, we will be using a lot of industrial goods here right now. And how is the unemployment? 3.4%. Okay, the inflation is still below 10%, so that's good. How's the food doing? It's not too bad. We may need to build a bit more sooner rather than later. Oh, that's actually something that we do need. Let's go talk to the king over here and... Well, probably the Prime Minister, quite frankly. Let's buy 20,000 tons. Pay 14 million for that. Then we'll start saving up cash for some extra tax from the United States. We'll try to get the... Hold on, is it the polymerization thing so we can get the... Yeah, polymerization theory so we can get the improved plastics. That's going to be a bit expensive. We can't buy it. In early molecular biology. Where does that lead? Improved materials, modern microscopes. Okay, so it is actually important tech somewhere down the line, but not right now. But now that we've got the rubber, we don't need to worry about our reserves here. We got reserves for another 530 days right now. Of course, that will go down a bit faster than expected at some point. Ooh. Did we not sell something? Oh no, we bought some industrial... Oh, the industrial goods price has gone down so much that we are actually automatically buying them again. Didn't quite expect that. Okay, well let me lower that price even further. If it goes below 1200 then it's probably worth it, but right now we need to kind of accumulate money, not spend it too much. Now, of course, once we've done that, we'll probably send the engineers down there. Start building the railway down this way. There we go, we got the power plant. Let's have a look. Did we actually meet the requirements? Not quite, so we need another one to be able to do that. Alright, then how's the unemployment doing? 3.4%. I don't think we can quite yet afford building another one, but at least that lowers the demand for it. I'm going to send you to construct down that way anyway. I actually wonder. Production cost for electricity is still more or less the same as it was before. We are making another 1.9 million out of sales, so that's good. Actually buying a ton of electrical power, but I think everything else we are selling in minuscule numbers, to be fair, but nonetheless we are selling. We might want to activate another coal mine soon, come to think of it, because we don't have that much. I mean, on the other hand, of the coal, most of it is being used for electricity production. But yeah, we'll activate another one of these. It means that there's going to be a bit less unemployment for a little while, but that is probably worth it. So we actually have a lot of production here. Now we are also selling a little bit of at least the coal. Not for profit per se, but at least less of a deficit. The GDP per capita is now 477, so we are taking quite strides forward, while the world average is still more or less the same. I actually wonder, if we have a look at the... is there... GDP per capita. United States is the number 1. Then Denmark, Netherlands, Great Britain, Canada. So who is right next to us? Actually, so Peru has a tiny bit higher, and Greece has a fair bit lower. So they're slowly getting up to Peru's level, then Luxembourg, British Kuwait, Cuba, Argentina. So we got quite a bit of nations to get past, but that's alright, actually. Provocation. How many nations... Okay, so Germany has a bit of provocation. And we have a pretty good war justification towards Germany. Are they trying to... I suppose they might be trying to fund some partisans or something in here. Anyway, let's build 2 hectares of rail here. Then we can start building up north to connect over there. This one can be connected to the network at some point. Not necessarily right now, but somewhere down the line. New alliance formed. Netherlands and Norway. Interesting. Earlier it was between the episodes, but Canada and United States and Canada and New Zealand formed alliances. Of course, with this, we're still making money. We're going to be losing some industrial goods here. That is to be expected, really. We've got 50 million. So, actually, how much are we making per... it's probably about 1 million. Yeah, pretty exactly 1 million, actually. Well, other synthetic fuels would be good at the same time. I'm going to get the capital ship construction, because we can't buy that. I'm just going to get some of the text that I'm not entirely sure that I need the capital ship construction, quite frankly, but I'll take it anyway. It may be required for some text somewhere down the line. A bit unexpectedly, even. But anyway, we'll get the early combat aircraft. We'll try to buy the theoretical polymerization. Or polymerization theory, I believe it was the name of the tech, wasn't it? Yeah, polymerization theories. Improve. Okay, but anyway, well, that is going. Produce a fair bit. We do need to increase our electricity production at some point. We'll get that one first. How is the unemployment doing? 3.5%. We'll let that get at least 3.6 before we build any more power plants or anything like that. And even though with that, we're still making 2 million, or even though we are buying a ton of electrical power, I mean, it's only less than $10,000 per day. So it's not really that massive, considering that consumer goods we sell for 1 million per day, and petroleum for almost 600,000, military goods for another 250,000. Actually, agriculture is almost 100,000 as well, that's not too bad. And now we get 60,000 from the coal sales. Not a lot, to be fair. But again, it's better than nothing. And we're mostly producing the coal so that we can use it in domestic production for electricity and industrial goods. I'm not actually entirely sure if it's used in anything else. No, electricity, well, civilians take it a little bit, but not all that much. They pay 50% extra for that, so okay. Not great, not terrible. Oh, we got the railway completed now. Right, how much do we have? Industrial goods, not massive amounts. Well, I think I will send you back south. Over there. We'll build another coal power plant there once we have the goods. In the meanwhile, we'll just let the money accumulate a little bit so we can get the tech that we are going to buy, the polymerization. And yeah, there's not a massive amount of things going on right now, so how about we do this? Volatility to medium. As soon as some wars are declared, I'll drop it down to low again. Just so that there's at least some action going in the world, so we can focus on that while we are waiting for various things for our economy to happen. Not going to be declaring wars ourselves. If someone declares war on us, then we'll try to defend. But in all likelihood, it's probably going to be someone like Germany. To be fair, it's so far away that they shouldn't be able to reach here reliably anyway. Right, so unemployment 3.5%, inflation is now 8.3%. GDP has actually dropped a little bit. Approval rating is still 30.7, so that's not too bad. Average social rating is 70.7. And yeah, we got pretty good credit rating. Get a decent bit of a loan if we need to, but I don't think we need to, quite frankly. Although it doesn't actually even show the button right now because we don't need more loans. We've got plenty of cash reserves. Alright then. Yeah, the next bit of railway is probably going to be these 2 hexes. I mean, I could just go over there and build 3 at once, but at the same time, first things first, we need to get the coal power plant again. Just to make sure that we have enough production of that, so we don't need to buy any. And, you know, if the price starts going up, especially with the potential war declarations, British India has a medium likelihood of attacking us. I don't like that. I mean, they are a colony, they can't actually declare wars unless they're unless the actual country, which is the British in this case, declare war. So it's a bit unlikely that they'd be attacking. Actually, one thing that I should probably make sure is right, we actually have we have no spies or anything like that, so there's not much of missions that we could do. Or a lot of funding that needs to be done. At the same time, I think our funding is more or better to be used in getting the technologies that we need. As long as we buy enough technologies, the United States... Ooh, that's Cuba, actually. A bit too short. Okay, so United States, still neutral. We got plenty of deals with them. Missile defense, land transit, air transit, and sea transit. Free flow, labor force, and free trade, and an embassy. So it's a bit unlikely that they'd be attacking us. Especially since we're not going to be attacking anyone. So they have tiny bit of war justification towards actual action somehow. I'm not entirely sure. Could just be because of the volatility on medium now. But we'll see how long it takes for some wars to happen. In the meanwhile, we are gathering up the cash and the industrial goods. We got already almost 11,000. Oh, now we got 11,000 tons. We need the, what, 16,000 tons? Before it's... Well, I mean, technically we don't need to wait quite that long. We'll probably start at 15,000 tons and start building, because it's still going to take more than 10 days to complete it. In which time we should be getting more... Yeah, getting another... Actually, oh, right, that... I remember now. Not entirely sure where we'd be getting that. Improved plastics is probably basic electronics, seems like it would be, but there is the... something that increases the electricity production by 50% per level of tech, and it goes up to like level 4 or 5, I don't remember exactly, but that would actually solve a lot of problems for our industry. I mean, that means that we'd be able to utilize the coal power plant that we are using right now, or plants that we're using right now, to fuel our industry for a lot longer. But that is still probably quite far away as a tech, for us anyway, not necessarily for everyone. New alliance form, Netherlands and China. Oh, that's a bit unexpected. Okay, so metal we're still doing fine, coal we're doing absolutely fine, petroleum we're doing fine. Timber we may need to start producing a bit more soon enough. I mean, we can expand this without any problems, quite frankly. We could probably connect this to the railway over there to make sure that there's a bit more supplies in here. Or down this way, actually, because that is 80%. Okay, that's 60%. It's a bit hard to tell, but either there or there to get. I mean, actually, if we connect to there, that might be better, especially if we get another supply depot in here. But anyway, it would appear that we are out of time for this episode. For the next episode, I will again play a little bit forward. I'll probably start with buying the polymerization techs, and then we'll expand our energy production a little bit, try to get a bit more techs researched, and then start expanding the infrastructure here in the north, so we can actually then move our engineers to Barranquilla quickly if need be, as well as any other troops that we might need to move. But slowly but surely our economy is forming up quite nicely. The total daily income is now, well, without the trades, is 7 million from treasury and all taxes and production, which isn't too bad. And then, of course, there's a fair bit of daily expenses, mostly from treasury and production, which is to say social spending and stuff like that, and then production of the various things. But anyway, if you enjoyed this, please like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. Also check out the links down below in the description. But other than that, thank you very much for watching, and until next time, bye bye.